Welcome to Royally Rumbled. I'm your host, Robert.
And I'm your host, Jordan.
And this is our Clash of Champions 2017 episode, a Smackdown Live pay-per-view.
This is the last pay-per-view of 2017. What a year.
Yeah, what a year it's been.
Perhaps we will dive into the year 2017 as a whole in a future episode. But for right now, let's talk about the pre-show match.
Pre-show match is Zack Ryder versus Mojo Rawley. The Hype Bros are no longer. Mojo turned on Zack Ryder, and now they have a blow-off match to see which Hype Bro is the most hype.
Please, God, please let Zack Ryder win this match, because I'm just so sick of Mojo Rawley taking up TV time.
Well, so I think giving Mojo the heel turn was an interesting decision. He's had a couple of stop-start pushes, so I'm hoping that this utilizes some momentum for him and keeps him moving.
So you're saying Mojo?
Yeah, the winner that I have, I believe that Mojo will win this. I don't know that. I'm going between whether or not it'll be a squash. I don't think it will be, but there's always that chance that they let this just be over very quickly. Because Ryder really has nothing to do. He's drifting. I say move
He's
Ryder.
He's drifting because he's paired with Mojo.
I think it was before that. They put him back in Hype Bros because they didn't have anything for him. And it gave them a little bit more leg room, and then, Hype Bros wasn't going to do anything. So they decided to break it up. But I say move him to Raw and team him with Hawkins, or move him to Raw and jump him right into the Miztourage. Either way, those give an immediate boost to Zack Ryder immediately, as far as I'm concerned. So I say Mojo's going to win this pretty handily. He's going to go all power on him. But I say move Zack Ryder to Raw and get him into something else.
I've got Zack Ryder, and hopefully this could move him into, the United States title picture. That's what I'm thinking. Just kind of, get the one-up on Mojo. And then Mojo could use the whole, I won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Remember when he did that?
Yeah, I forgot for
Weird.
a little while. But yeah, they'll both do fine as single stars for now, I think. I think now's the time to let them be single stars. And then when we do a Superstar Shakeup after WrestleMania, then you can move Zack Ryder to Raw and have him team with Hawkins. But at least for now, I think both these guys should just be single stars.
All right, ring the bell.
Next up, we have the tag team match between Xango versus the Bludgeon Brothers.
Who you got?
I gotta go with the Bludgeon Brothers.
Okay.
Only because they've been squashing people left and right. Now is their first real test, and it's just Xango, who are the comedy tag team.
Yep.
So, yeah, I've got Bludgeon Brothers over in this one. This one's going to be pretty quick. Nothing to phone home about. It'll be entertaining. I like all the guys in the match. I mean, Rowan's not really much, but...
No, of the four, he's the worst.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. But then again, in this day and age...
Yeah.
If you're the worst in WWE, you're still pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. I'm finally sold on Breezango. It took me a while to get here, I'll admit. I didn't see the light originally on them. I kind of found them annoying at first. But they're hilarious, and I get it now. I'm not quite sure of what to make of the repackaging of Harper and Rowan. I like the entrance music. The attires look cool, but I don't really understand what the characters are yet.
It's weird because they were already such solidified characters.
Yeah.
And then Harper was killing it when he turned face.
Yeah, and don't
last
forget,
year.
he was involved in the title picture like not too long ago.
Yeah.
So it's very weird.
It's just strange, and I feel bad for the guy because he's constantly being held down by Rowan.
Yeah, it might be that there's a familiarity between him and Rowan.
It's because they got beards.
Well, it's because of I think it's just because of they introduced them together, so now they just know that the crowd is always going to put those two together like in their head. But also, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned his beard because if Harper looked a little different, maybe they could package him as something else. Off the top of my head, have him shave his beard and wear a suit to the ring. Make him like this weird suave guy. It'd be very strange.
It'd be super strange.
Yeah, because he does like creepy eyes really well, obviously. So, just throwing that out there. I don't know. Do something else with him. You know, there's possibilities there. I don't know if he's willing to change his look because he's already so well known by it. You know. So I don't know. I have the Bludgeon Brothers winning. I don't see there's any chance that they don't win this.
Yeah, me too.
Next up, we have Charlotte Flair defending her SmackDown Live Women's Championship against Natalya in a Lumberjill match. Who you got?
Well, I think Charlotte's just gonna retain because I don't see Natty getting a title push again. They've had good matches, but I just feel like now is Charlotte's turn to kind of run with the belt.
Yeah. I think the additions of Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan from NXT have made an immediate impact on the SmackDown women's roster. I mean, and obviously, you know, because they were beating them all down, but I just mean in terms of like shakeups and different matchups that they could do. They added some fresh blood in there, so it's interesting again. But
it goes back to when we talked about Survivor Series and we said, oh, well, who's going to make up the Team SmackDown for the women? Because it was the entire women's roster.
Yep.
So getting some fresh faces on is a good thing. And I think it's just a little weird because they're kind of doing the same thing between the Riot Squad and Absolution
on Raw. Yeah, it's the exact same thing. So you have to imagine that they're connected in some way.
I'm waiting to see if like at the Royal Rumble they kind of tease something with that.
Well, I'm glad you said that too because I have a feeling you have to believe that they're building towards a women's Royal Rumble match, right?
I mean, it's possible.
That they brought up 6 total from NXT. And I didn't do a full count on them, but I think they're close with if they get 1 or 2 surprise returns and utilize all of the women that they have on the main roster and maybe 1 or 2 from NXT again as debuts. I think they have a full 30. My only question is, do they have time to do 2 full Royal Rumble matches on one pay-per-view?
I mean, it's a 4-hour show, so yeah, of course they have time.
But that said, it's worth noting that Lana was in full ring gear on SmackDown Live when they came to the aid of Charlotte. So, just throwing that out there because they made her stop wrestling, and now she's one of the Lumberjills with Tamina and who else is there? Naomi. So, just throwing it out there. There's a chance that Lana wrestles again.
Well, Lana is going to be wrestling again because just today they announced that WWE is doing a special Facebook video series called the Mixed Match Challenge.
Yeah. Mixed tag matches, right?
Mixed tag matches, yeah. And Lana is one of the SmackDown female competitors.
Interesting.
So I think that's definitely interesting to note. Rusev is also a male competitor, so there's a possibility that those two team together.
I think the fans get to vote on who the teams are.
Exactly. So, that being said, Jimmy Uso and Naomi are also members of this thing. I want to see Lana team up with Jimmy Uso, and I want to see Naomi team up with Rusev, and I want to see them wrestle each other.
I want to see Nia Jax and Braun Strowman.
I had that as well. I thought we should see that, and then we should put Enzo with Asuka.
Oh, shoot.
Because Enzo wouldn't have to do anything.
No.
And they'd win the whole thing.
Well, because Asuka's not allowed to lose. So right there.
Yeah. But this could all be discussed in a future episode if we choose to do that. But yeah, so that's coming in January.
Going back to the women's championship match, Natty has no business still being in the title picture, so I have Charlotte winning.
Yeah, I mean, at this point. Next up, we have the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships being defended in a Fatal 4-Way match. So we have the Usos defending against The New Day, Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, and Rusev and Aiden English. Who you got?
I have the Usos. I see no reason to move the titles at this point. They just got them back. There's nobody here really to drop them to. That would make sense. Although I will say that Rusev and English as a team are super entertaining. So there's that.
Yeah.
But I have the Usos.
Yeah, I've got a bad feeling that unless Rusev and Aiden English start to show a little more fierceness and a little more dominance in the ring, they're going to wind up being just like Brie Xango.
I think they're kind of already there.
I think they're treating them like that, but I feel like there's a small window, especially with being thrown into this match, where they could be like the New Day in the fact that they're funny, whatever, but when it comes down to being in the ring, they could be taken seriously as legitimate competitors.
I think there's too many people that are just trying to be funny. I think we've hit critical mass for too many people trying to be funny. So I enjoy the two of them as the comedy team. However, there's just too many people doing funny. You know, there's nobody in that tag team division to take seriously other than the Usos and maybe Benjamin and Gable, but
they haven't been around long enough to even be a team.
That's what I mean. So it's just weird.
With that being said, I have the Usos as well. I agree with you 100%. There's no reason to take the titles off of them. Maybe do something with them leading up to the Rumble, since there's still a pretty big gap. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Take the time, build your tag team division. That's all I'll say.
SmackDown used to have a great tag team division.
I mean, they still do. Everyone's got such talent, but there's nothing interesting story-wise going on between anyone.
No.
And I think that's kind of why they're suffering a little bit. Because, they're having great matches, but there's nothing even memorable about what's currently happening.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, we have Baron Corbin defending his United States Championship in a triple threat match against Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Who you got?
Although I like Dolph Ziggler to win this match, I feel like Baron Corbin is going to just retain the title, because this match was just thrown together just for the pay-per-view, basically. They were like, oh shit, there's a pay-per-view. We should probably put a United States title match on the card.
The Roode and Ziggler feud has been dragged out for at least a month too long, in my opinion. This has been going on. We get it. Dolph's mad that he's an entrance. He's mad that Dolph doesn't believe in him. They've done their matches over and over again. I don't think they have anything left to show us. And that's why they include Baron Corbin here. And then they kind of get them involved one another. But Baron and Dolph have had a thing going for how long now?
Ziggler was the first guy that Baron Corbin wrestled against when he came up to the main roster.
Yeah. So it's been 2 years. And on top of that, Ziggler's just twisting in the wind. Like there's nothing for him other than
he needs to go to New Japan already.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he'd be a great addition to the Bullet Club. So I feel bad, but they don't have anything for him, and he's just wasting away, doing the same thing over and over again, and then not doing the entrance, and then having an entrance on Tuesday. It was weird. I tweeted out a couple times. There were a lot of non-televised entrances, and then when it came to the Ziggler, I think he faced Corbin match.
Yeah.
Ziggler got an entrance on TV, but Rude didn't, and he was ringside, which I just thought was weird because Ziggler was doing a thing where he wasn't doing his entrance, and then his music kicked on and he came out to it. So whatever.
Yeah, because that feud ended, but we're just continuing on because they're like, well, Ziggler and Rude had a thing, so let's just make it
more of a thing.
Yeah.
In
my opinion,
yeah,
this should have just been a singles match. There's no reason to interject Dolph Ziggler into this match other than, well, he needs something to do.
Mm-hmm.
So let's give him something to do. Let's give him, because this way they're just going to prolong the feud between Rude and Corbin. Yep. Because this way Corbin is just going to pin Ziggler.
I mean, in my head, I'm hoping that Rude wins the title here, but I know better, so I know Baron Corbin's going to win.
There'd be no build to it. It wouldn't make any sense.
No, so I know that Corbin's going to win it. But I mean, it leaves for a good moment at WrestleMania for Rude to win the U.S. title. So I'm all for that.
I can't wait for his entrance at WrestleMania. I don't think they'll wait that long. It could be at Royal Rumble or whatever's after that, But
right.
We're getting ahead. We're getting very ahead of ourselves.
Yes.
So we both have Baron Corbin.
Yep.
All right, ring the bell.
Next up, we have AJ Styles defending his WWE Championship versus Jinder Mahal.
The modern day Maharaja.
Yeah.
Also, the Singh brothers offered to be in AJ Styles' corner.
Yeah, that whole promo and segment, because it went from a promo into a segment.
It was so weird.
It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. They came out and said that they're not going to introduce Jinder. They're mad at Jinder. They don't want to be with Jinder anymore, and they have good reason considering he beat the hell out of them a week or two ago. And then AJ was quick to point out that they were with him in India last weekend, so that's weird of them to say, which I don't feel like he should be the one to tell them that. And then they were saying stuff about Jinder, but because it's PG, all they could say is his feet stink and he's mean to them. The whole thing was just very, very weird. And I couldn't wait for it to be over. And then Jinder came out, and AJ attacked the Singh brothers anyway. And then Jinder was helping them up as if it was all a plan all along for him to use them to trick AJ. But how could AJ be tricked by the guys that he knows Jinder's teamed up with since the beginning? None of it made any goddamn sense.
Yeah. And this is
it was so convoluted.
Logistical flaws behind the WWE and their writing. Because I feel like they're so panicked in needing to fill TV time, they just throw shit at the walls and hope it sticks.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, we need a segment at the beginning of this show. Let's open it with AJ Styles because he really wasn't featured too much on last week's episode. Well, we have the Singh brothers, and Jinder attacked them, but we also need to mention that, they were together in India because people saw photos, but they also didn't mention that Jinder Mahal lost to Triple H in India.
No, they didn't mention that at all.
Which makes no sense.
It was weird. They described the smell of his feet. And and it was right at the beginning of the show, and I just wanted to change the channel. It was just they were it smells like garlic and onions, and I was let them say curry and turn this into a racist thing. And then they said butter chicken, which I guess is a pass. because it's like,
It's so cringeworthy.
Yeah.
It's so cringeworthy.
And AJ the whole time, God love him, was like, really? Ew. Really? Ew. like egging them on, but also like, what am I doing right now? It was weird. All that said about the match now, AJ is the man, and he deserves to have that title around his waist forever.
I'm going to go with you here and say that AJ Styles is retaining the title. And I feel like Jinder will get the title back probably at Royal Rumble.
So you think he's going to get the title rolling into WrestleMania?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I have AJ winning here, but I don't think there's a chance Jinder gets that back until after WrestleMania is over. Because the crowd response for AJ is, we talked about it in the last episode, but it is off the charts now.
It's great. It's like he's the most over guy.
Yeah.
Probably in the entire company.
So I don't think that there's a chance that they take that away from him right now. After WrestleMania, it could be the Tuesday after WrestleMania they could take it away from him, and I think that'd be fine. But I don't think that he's dropping it before WrestleMania happens.
Oh wow! So you think AJ is walking into WrestleMania?
Yeah. I don't see any reason why they would do that. But that said, in this match, Jinder is going to look good, and this may go down as his best match ever since becoming champion and then losing it.
They had a really good match when he dropped the belt.
Yeah.
They had a really good match.
I have a feeling this one is going to be his best match since his whole run started. And it's going to be all because of AJ Styles.
110% agree.
And also Jinder kind of needs another good match.
I have a feeling like there's going to be some sort of screwy finish, but I still think AJ is going to walk out as champ.
Okay.
Because I don't see this feud being over yet.
No, unfortunately.
Because where do you go with Jinder?
I don't know what you do with
He loses to Styles.
Jinder.
He loses to Triple H. He loses his rematch to Styles. And then what? I don't want to see Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton again. I'm not really interested in Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
I might do Jinder versus Shinsuke just until we get to the official road to WrestleMania after the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And then you get Shinsuke and AJ into a program for WrestleMania.
See, now we're talking.
Yeah, that's happening. I don't want to get ahead of my...
You don't see Jinder Mahal winning the Royal Rumble and facing AJ Styles at WrestleMania and then winning the belt?
There's always a chance that something like that happens. If they don't have Roman Reigns win the Royal Rumble again.
Let's hope
that'd be
not.
like number 3, right? Yeah. So
let's hope not. All right.
So ring the bell on that. AJ Styles walks out again with the WWE Championship.
Which brings us to the main event. We're getting Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, with Shane McMahon as the special guest referee and Daniel Bryan as the second special guest referee.
And if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn lose, they will be fired from WWE.
You mean not just from SmackDown Live?
Not just from SmackDown Live.
From the entire WWE.
So, right out the gate, let's just state the obvious here. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are not going to get fired from WWE.
Nope.
So that's not happening. So I predict that this will not end clean at all, and there will be some sort of dusty finish that will see Owens and Zayn on a technicality be able to stay.
Yeah. I think Daniel Bryan is going to help them win.
Yeah, in
Straight
some
up
capacity.
Intentionally, he's going to help them win.
Okay.
I have a feeling like maybe Daniel Bryan locks in a yes lock.
Oh.
I have a feeling like Daniel Bryan's going to get a little physical in this match.
Now, official word is that Daniel Bryan is on the do not touch list.
Yeah, well, I think this is all changing. Since they brought Angle back, I think that changed everything. And now I have a feeling like Daniel Bryan is going to get at least one last run in the WWE, and this is the start of it.
I'm glad you say that because my ultimate hope is that this has all been a slow build to a Daniel Bryan versus Shane McMahon match at WrestleMania.
I have a feeling that's entirely possible.
This is going back to the draft itself. This agreement and this slow dissension and then using Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to get this point across is a great writing decision.
Going back to earlier when we were saying SmackDown's stories, like in the tag team division and with the championships, it's just kind of thrown together. This is the only thing on SmackDown that I feel like anyone's been paying attention to, like in the writer's room.
Yeah, and funny enough, it's always a McMahon storyline that's the thing that continues forward. Always. If you're not in a storyline with the boss or his kids, your storyline's not going anywhere.
It's crazy, but it's true. But this is one match that I'm invested in.
Yeah, and Sami Zayn as a heel is one of the most interesting portrayals of a heel ever.
Because his character still feels he's like one of the best written villains in like a superhero movie, where their own character feels like they're doing the right thing.
If you see it from his side, he's not wrong. So he's not necessarily a bad guy. He's just like an anti-hero. But he delivers it in such a way. It's just he gets so Sami Zayn about it, basically. You know, because there's a way to deliver your lines, and there's a way that Sami Zayn delivers his lines, where he's like petting his beard, and he's like counting on his fingers when he's talking to you, and he's going I don't think, like he's doing all those things, and it's just so Sami Zayn.
He's doing like the dancing entrance, and he's like very over the top about it.
Yeah. Or just like the large like dinosaur stomps. He did that the one day and I was rolling. But yeah, so I have Owens and Zayn coming out as the victors here. I don't know what that means, but they're not getting fired, so that's all that. Also, it's really great that, you know, Shinsuke had nothing to do, so they were able to just get him in this match to keep him on the pay-per-view, you know?
Yeah, you know, and I saw someone tweet something last night during SmackDown where they said it's remarkable how Vince McMahon turned Shinsuke Nakamura into a regular guy.
Yeah.
Just any old regular guy.
Yeah, because now he doesn't have the allure that he had for when he was in NXT.
And even coming in, like, he had so much hype behind him. He didn't wrestle for like a full month since like Shinsuke Nakamura's on SmackDown. He just did his entrance. Oh my God, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, they kept making him cut promos.
Nothing happened.
They kept making him cut promos.
Ridiculous promos.
Which was such a great decision. And then yesterday, I think they had Renee Young do about 15 post-match interviews the ring.
And we always comment on those on Twitter. How awkward those post-match interviews always wind up.
Well, because she seems to come out of nowhere. And she's just like, Randy, now that you know this, how do you feel about this? And he's always just like, Renee, I don't know. Like,
I'm the Viper.
Right. And he did like the whole promo thing, and then he was like, right, partner, and then they awkwardly fist bumped each other and they missed. And then Shinsuke just did yep, and I was like, oh, okay, because that's what their shirt said. Got it. The yep movement. That was funny that Shinsuke used that. But see, he's effective in only saying one word with his mouth guard in.
Seriously. Raw was the much better show this week.
Well, I fell asleep through both of them, so if that's any consolation.
Me too, but I'm just saying I was way more interested in Monday Night Raw than I was in SmackDown.
I haven't seen a Raw main event in probably over a month.
That's because we're old now.
Yeah, I can't make it through the show anymore. There's not only is there not enough happening, they keep cutting to commercial in the middle of matches, and that's gonna put me right out. You know, as soon as I start seeing an accurate commercial, I'm like, oh, I could go to sleep now. And then SmackDown, it was during the women's match yesterday on SmackDown Live. It was Ruby Riott versus Charlotte, which is a very interesting match that I'm very interested in seeing because they're both phenomenal competitors in the ring. And we didn't get an entrance for either of them on TV. They were both already in the ring when they came back from a commercial. And they did a couple of things, and one of them rolled to the outside, and it was like, we'll be right back. And they did this SmackDown split screen with the actual commercial and the action in the ring. And it was a series of rest holds, chain wrestling rest holds, until the full screen came back up.
Yeah, because they're just worried. The talent doesn't know when that they're going to do the split screen thing.
No.
They just know, okay, well, this is a 2-segment match, so we need to work this because we're on commercial right now.
Yeah, no, I understand that. It's just, why are you wasting our time with the split screen? You know, if you're going to do that, do it during an exciting match that's going to have a lot of stuff that you can't miss, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, they're not going to do a spot where I'm going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I missed that. Unless Charlotte does a moonsault to the outside, but she's done those a bunch, so I'm not missing anything. But now I'm just complaining, so.
Yeah. Overall, this is a very, meh pay-per-view.
Oh, definitely.
There's nothing on paper that screams like this is going to be changing the landscape of SmackDown Live. Unless you're...
No, the only thing that is the Randy Orton, Nakamura, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn match with Shane and Daniel involved.
The sad thing is I'm more invested in Shane and Daniel Bryan than I am in Orton and Nakamura.
Well, yeah, because they're just the two faces that they had available to face the two villains. And they've done just enough to get you interested in the Randy Orton side of it, but they were beating Randy Orton down, Sammy and Kevin, a week or two ago, and then Nakamura just came out.
Yeah, he just showed up.
So it really, it couldn't be more thrown together than that.
Oh, you mean how they announced the Tag Team Championship Fatal 4-Way and the United States Triple Threat match, through social media on a Saturday? Because that was pretty thrown together. So yeah, I think it could get a little bit more thrown together. However, I'm sure the wrestling is going to be really good, because it always is.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bump in the road before Royal Rumble, because that's when things get really interesting, because we're almost in Mania season here.
Very excited for the Royal Rumble as long as Roman Reigns doesn't win for the third time.
Yep. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all we got.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. We'll see about getting maybe one more episode out before the end of the year. If not, we will see you at the Royal Rumble.
It is our namesake pay-per-view, so that is our show.
Yeah.
We can't wait.
Royally Rumbled, talking Royal Rumble. Say that 5 times fast. All right. Thank you for listening.
Signing off, I am Robert.
And I am Jordan. You could follow us on Twitter at Royally Rumbled, or you could follow us individually.
I am on Twitter and Instagram at Yesball.
And I am on Instagram and Twitter at Alex Shepard. with no vowels, just that first day.
All right, everybody, enjoy Clash of Champions 2017, and we'll talk to you soon.